me. Feed me more. Feed me more.
The Ryback Show starts now. Welcome to the Ryback Show. I'm your host, the big guy Ryback. Happy Monday, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. We are streaming live on Instagram and TikTok, the big guy Ryback22. Thank you guys for watching the live streams over there. You guys can join us on the video here at RYBACK30 here on YouTube, guys. Super chats are greatly appreciated and brought up on the screen in between taking calls. We are also streaming live on Facebook at Ryback Reeves and Twitch at Ryback Rules. We are live here on X Spaces, Twitter Spaces, X Spaces, guys, the People's Podcast, where you guys can call in. If you're watching on any of the other platforms, follow me or go to my account at Ryback on X Twitter here, guys, and you'll see the show at the top of the page going on live. Click in there, and if you want to come on, call in, hit request to speak, and it will allow you to come on in here. Health, fitness, supplementation, pro wrestling, sports, and anything and everything in between on that, guys. Whatever is on your mind, we are here to take your calls on that. The show's available on all podcast platforms. iTunes reviews are greatly appreciated. If you got a moment to leave a star rating and write a review, guys, it helps us out. I think we're at 711 ratings. I really want to get to that 1K mark. That's a big milestone in podcasting to get 1,000 reviews. So if we need a lot more, though, we got to crank it up. So if you guys could please help out on iTunes and leave a review in there and write one, it really helps. If you genuinely enjoy this show, whether you're a new listener, a longtime listener, or somewhere in between, it really helps the cause on all of that. This show is brought to you by Feed Me More Nutrition, my premium supplement line sweetened with stevia and monk fruit. No harmful artificial sweeteners or colors for all people, men and women. He, she, and thee. FeedMeMore.com. Save 20%. Discount code FEEDME20, FEEDME20 to get 20% off Feed Me More Nutrition or all Ryback merch over at FeedMeMore.com. You also get a free shaker bottle with all orders, guys. Just select it as your free gift, and it will be added to your order. Compliments of the big guy Ryback. Our brain feed is now back in stock. If you like Alpha Brain, you're going to love my brain feed. Half the price, more ingredients, more results. Check it out, guys. FeedMeMore.com. Also, we've got my Ryback Pepper Slam Hot Chug Challenge available over at LeagueOfFire.com, guys. This is a scorcher. So this is not for the faint of heart. This is to test your mental fortitude to see how tough you are mentally. Guys, this is a challenge that is extreme is an understatement with this. But if you want to see how tough you are, and I've done this on my channel, maybe have to do another one because I did a live before, maybe do a whole pre-planned video. This stuff is the real deal. It is it's a little chug challenge. You order it on LeagueOfFire.com. It comes with a couple exclusive trading cards actually as well, not available anywhere else, guys, with these League of Fire Chug Challenge cards on that. And you follow the directions on it, you chug it. You've got to do a 5-minute afterburn with it. And if you could do that, you can, there's nothing you can't do because it is the Pocky One Chip Challenge. That is nothing compared to the heat that is brought with this. And but again, if you think you're tough, a lot of people have done it on the chili community with that and posted their videos on YouTube. If you post and tag me, I will share it, though, for your channel and give you a shout out. So check it out, LeagueOfFire.com. It's on the homepage on there, guys. Good to see all of you guys. Welcome to the show. Good to see some people in here on Twitter. I have another case opened, and I'm hoping to get more answers again with everything going on. Hoping is an understatement, but that's my business, and we'll leave it at that and try to get it all squared away. What's up? If you want to go back and watch old episodes, absolutely. There's a lot of great stuff, man. Different versions of the show going all the way back to 2016. I mean, there's a lot of information dropped in those, a lot of cool guests. I did some really cool interviews for a 2-year stretch, and all versions of this show have been kick-ass in my opinion. The early days were a lot of fun. The Phoenix days, those were really fun, really fun. And then, you know, obviously the version that we are now, this is the most fun in the terms of like, I like not knowing what's to come every show with that. Whereas the other ones, you know, you kind of, you know what you're in for with that. This show, this version, you never know who's going to call in. You never know what's going to happen. So somebody says, yeah, I'm sorry if you guys, this is my life. You didn't get any notifications. Imagine being me in knowing what you should be making every month and with the hustle and the work that you've built, all of this, and to have it taken away. You'll never understand with it. And I don't expect you to understand because you're not the ones living it, but there's a reason I bring this up daily, and I know what's going on, and the truth is going to win. God is on my side. I love God more than anything, and I've been protected, and I've spoken up from day one. I firmly believe all the old wrestlers, I've been put in this position for a reason. I have no fear, and I will take it all the way, and we're going to win with this. And I am not the bad guy in this situation. I am the good guy with it, and I'm fighting for good, and good is going to prevail over evil. And it's just going to take a little more time, and it's going to happen. So you guys can help out by sharing this show, retweeting the Twitter, all the versions, sharing this show, making clips, guys. That is the best way. They can't suppress everybody's accounts with it, and we're actually going to be taking on a different approach with the marketing as well. And I always find ways, and even TikTok, I'm finding ways around certain things on the suppression over there. And I'm not saying the exact ways, because then they will just go and they will stop that, because they've done this all along the way. But I'm working. I constantly have evolved and continue to change. And there's a reason why I'm still the most followed wrestler on TikTok compared to any active wrestler with this. And for anybody that wants to try to say I'm irrelevant or this and that, I have one of the biggest social media followings. Despite them cutting me off to my following, I continue to grow, and I continue to get people following me, and they are holding me back, and they are doing everything they can. And they're not going to win, because I'll never stop with it. And I'm going to continue to find ways around all this, and we're going to do it with it. So it's going to be a beautiful thing. And it's allowed me to prove my hungry mindset, my feed me more, never give up mentality, and talk to a lot of really cool, great people along the way as well. Brain feed does not kick you out of a fasted state. You can take brain feed while fasting, and the teacrine in it is a very good energy booster that is not caffeine. Brain feed is one of my favorite supplements. I actually got my bottles coming in as well. Angela, we've talked about all the vegan stuff already, brother. You got to just go back and watch with all of it. Sometimes I have to repeat myself a lot on this show, and there's days I don't feel like repeating myself. Let's get going. Let's take some calls here on the Ryback Show. Taking a look. Take a new caller. Angel Vesquez. Hello. Welcome to the Ryback Show.
Yo.
How you doing?
Good. How are you, man?
I'm doing great, thank you. Happy Monday. What's on your mind?
Nothing, bro. Man, this is cool talking to you, man. But I was wondering when we can see a RYBAC30's return.
The question of the day every day. Hopefully soon, brother. Hopefully soon. I just talked to my agent again this weekend. I've still got to get cleared. That is, I'm going to get my shoulder worked on today. There's a couple things that need to take place here, and hopefully very soon.
Yeah, well, that's good news. But yeah, you always been one of my favorite wrestlers, man. But have a nice day.
You too. Thank you very much, bud.
Yes, sir.
Take care. Good deal. That's the question of always. And then when people meet me in person, I get that quite often. It is as if I've not talked about anything for 7.5 years. But a lot of people haven't seen me with it. And it's understandable. I would much rather have people asking than not asking with that. But it still can, question. It is the question New caller, YR. Bring YR on. Hello, welcome to the Ryback Show.
Hey, Ryback. You know, these people calling in, they need to really rewatch your shows, man. I mean, I feel you and I hear where you're coming from when you have to repeat yourself and everything. But, you know, all these people like you.
I'm sorry, you're cutting out on me there. YR has been kicked off, not by me on that. It looks like he might have had a bad connection, which we can't always control the connections. Bring on Spartan for a question. Yeah, Angela, somebody says RT the Brandon average, and I'm good before I get to Spartan 1 second. Yeah, RT on YouTube says an average YouTuber gets about 10% of their sub count in live viewers. 10% of 400,000 would be 4,000. Yes. So that would be, you're absolutely correct. That would, I should have around that much in my live chat, give or take on day, or you would see fluctuations where there would be some days would be really high, maybe 7, 8, 9,000 live in here. Other days, maybe 2 or 3, right? But on average, about 4,000. Same with the views on your videos. You typically, on average, are around 10% of your subscribers will be your views. That's not counting videos, you know, obviously they're going to go viral. But what they have done is they've taken that all away from me. That would be 40,000 views per video, by the way, would be my average. Nowhere close if you guys are looking at all of this. My following keeps growing. By the way, YouTube, I went up 200,000 views in the last month. You want to know what they did with my revenue? They dropped it $500 more. Does not add up. This is stuff that I've dealt with and I've tried. I'm just trying to get you guys to understand. So those of you that see, so when this does get corrected at time, you go, holy hell, this guy has really been fighting this. Like they are trying, it's essentially trying to force me to go do something else because everything that I put into this to build this all up, they have suppressed and taken away from me with it. But we're going to win with all of it. They can't stop everything. So, all right, Spartan, sorry about that. How you doing?
Hey, big guy. You're not the only one that's being suppressed. I mean, if you look at Diamond and Silk, there's congressional hearings on that. But I just had one question for you about the wet cupping.
Yep.
I'm fascinated with that. It looks like it hurts.
Not at all. I'm used to I think maybe it can. The suction is maximum pressure on it. I'm used to it. I would say maybe if a person's never done it and the suction cups got suctioned as hard as with all the air sucked out, pulling on the skin like that it would probably be painful to a good portion of people. But at this point, like I'm immune to it. So, and I know that the benefits of it far outweigh any temporary pain on that end anyways. But the markings look a lot worse than what, than what it really feels. I don't feel anything when they're off. It feels normal. So
I used to go to this chiropractor. He's the best guy in the world. And he didn't charge firefighters any money. You know, I have shoulder issues on both sides. Like, I think I really have a weak rear delt, which causes a lot of, like, I can push weight over my head, but like there's a certain threshold there that where it just, I'm in a lot of pain. Like if I go too heavy.
Yep.
And he used to they did the dry cupping and the dry needling on me, and it helped the thing where they stretch your neck out with that machine, and it kind of relieves the pressure off your discs.
Yeah, the inversion. I have the inversion table, but it's traction, like traction.
Traction, yeah. And it helps so much. But I never heard about the wet cupping or the, I know you talked a lot about the stem cell thing, which I'm very fascinated about that. But I never seen the wet cupping thing before, and I just was curious to how all that works. And I mean, does a chiropractor do that, or
there are people that do it? That's where I got it from a Chinese doctor, an acupuncture doctor, who was the one that introduced it to me months ago here in Vegas. But it's just like regular. You can buy the cupping. You can buy all this on Amazon. You essentially want to go to somebody who can show you, or you want to make sure you read up on it and have a very thorough understanding. The most important part of it is disinfecting the area which is very simple. Whether you use disinfection pads or a spray bottle with a formula with towels and disinfect the area, but it's essentially you get a lancing pen and you switch those out with the little prickers. I have like a box of 1,000. You switch them out after every time you use it for every session, and you put anywhere from 30 to 50 little pricks in the area that you're going to put the cup on in the different areas. And what it does is it sucks out in scar tissue, toxins, inflammation, and a portion of blood with doing that. And what happens is, and it comes through those holes, the blood, like for me, it turns into these huge lumps of the scar tissue and the toxins and the inflammation essentially bind and make the blood. It turns into these big, like slug looking things, like of blood in there with it. But that's how it sucks from deep within the muscle. So I have a lot of toxins and scar tissue and inflammation in there, and it's getting less and less and less every week that we do it. And but essentially it's helping me for my particular issue to when I roll on the golf ball and have to break up the scar tissue. It's getting that, because I've had my whole area was just rock hard of just scar tissue, like inches deep. So it's taken years of rolling, literally hours a day, and you guys, just hours and hours and hours of nonstop of continuing to break up this scar tissue to get my tissue to be normal, to be able to function, because the tissue is all glued down. I don't know what your particular issue could be. It could be beneficial, but something too is there's a lot of really good rehab programs on YouTube with shoulder people that you should see how you respond to doing a few months of rehab. There's because there's specific exercises that you could do that I do that have helped with the stabilization, even though my main issue is my stuck scapula where the scar tissue is. And I know that we know that's what I have to get to break free to get fully to where I'm really good. I don't know what your particular situation can be, but I know in a lot of people rehab and doing a thorough 3-month rehab and building yourself back up could be that could be all that you need with that. So I would explore that, and because those muscles that you can feel that are weak on your rear shoulder, your rear delt, you're typically the rotator cuff muscles, the 4 different ones. There's all these programs that you could do, and you pick out 5, 6, 7, 8 exercises, and you do them 4 or 5 days a week. And I'm telling you, within a matter of weeks, you might be feeling really, really good.
So if this helps you like as far as what my deal is, the most weight I ever bench pressed was like 265, and that was so many years ago. I don't even want to get into it, but I've always had issues with the bench press, like that movement. And I've read a lot of articles about there's this, if you have a weak rear delt, that can contribute to that, because I've got strong legs. I've got everything else is pretty normal, but just for some reason, a bench press has been it's been like the hardest movement for me to do.
I would stop doing bench. Isn't even needed. A lot of this stuff too is like bench press is very hard on the shoulders, even though, but unless you have really good, impeccable form, which I didn't learn until later in life with it. And even then, there's just better ways of training. Like you got to ask yourself, like I like that's where I'm at now. Like I train very hard, but I train very smart, and I lift with proper form, and I'm not cheating. I'm trying not to use my body to try to lift more weight. I'm trying to lift as much weight as I can with as strict a form as possible to train the muscles that I'm trying to train. And I find when you do that, you can't train as heavy as you normally would where you're using looser form in that, but you stay healthier because you're not using a weight that you can't truly handle with that. And oftentimes too, like on chest and different things, it's just so we get so caught up in the actual number rather than actually training properly and to be able to stay healthy and to be able to train for the rest of our lives. So it's like, it finally clicked for me where I was like, I got to make some adjustments on things. And if I plan on wanting to wrestle and stay healthy as I get older, I've got to make some adjustments. And, bench is one. I don't do regular bench anymore. And I benched 550 when I was younger. I benched 500 another time. Like I've got some pretty big lifts, and it just comes a point where it's like, I'd rather be strong and healthy. And, I can train 100 different other exercises that are better for my shoulder than the actual bench press with that. So I think too, you don't have to bench, to look and feel good and to be healthy. And that's just something to think about, because sometimes it's a lot of guys, it's their own worst end. Too many guys, they do it, they get hurt, they burn out, then they can never lift ever again because they're so jacked up. It's like, I'd rather be able to, just stay healthy and lift for the rest of my life with it and make some adjustments with that. So that's just something to think about too, as far as the bench press. You don't have to be able to bench to be able to continue to live your life, or you've already benched. You've probably, you've got your max bench already that you have. And you don't, at what point do you need to keep getting that or not getting that? Like, you know what I mean?
I totally feel you on that. People getting stuck on the number, and then there's a day that I realized that, I can't do this. Like, wouldn't it be better just to go lighter and concentrate on my form?
Exactly.
And
and get your shoulder better, because then this is the problem we all deal with. This is a guy thing, is we're stuck on the number, and you feel like in order to be who you were, you have to do that number or close to that number. And in the process, you keep making yourself worse and worse and worse, and you're not allowing yourself to heal, and you keep re-aggravating the injury. And whereas the focus should be, I'm going to rehab this muscle properly, either through a clinic, and if your insurance can cover it, or do it yourself online and find there's programs online with YouTube with people you could work with too, or you can get the exercises. And obviously working with professionals are always the best, as far as, or could be the best if you can do it, at least to start. But doing that and training lighter for a while, you're not going to lose any size. But you're going to get healthy, and then possibly you'll be able to rebuild your strength up as time goes on with a healthy shoulder. Because I've done this. I know the deal. Like, it's you get caught up on, I've always done this. I got to keep doing this, or else I'm declining. It's like, but in the process, you're just keep hurting yourself more and more and more.
Well, the guy that kind of broke me into lifting weights and all that, he's a lot bigger guy than me, and I'm a medium-sized guy, and so I was always trying to compete with him. He had like 400-pound bench presses, and there's no way I could get close to that. But what do you like doing for chest? Like, do you like? I really like dumbbells, because I feel like you can. There's accessory muscles get used. There's so much more movement in the exercise than just a flat barbell.
Yeah, I like dumbbells are great. I loved them. And I actually don't do them as much now with my shoulder because of the grinding. I can still do them, and I can go up to a point and do them safely. And they do recruit the accessory muscles, the stabilizing muscles with it. It's probably, if I had my way, and I always was very dumbbell oriented when I was at my biggest and my thickest, essentially. I think they're number one. But I think if you have injuries and things, like I do a lot now, and I still do the dumbbells, not as much, but like the hammer strength incline and bench press, various different machine presses. I'm really big. I love like finishing my workout with like a pec deck and really squeezing it with good form and keeping my chest up, not slouching over and trying to cheat and use more weight, and like really using the chest muscles from the beginning of the contraction to the end, and the beginning of the stretch to the end of the contraction with that. Like, and I've gotten really, really good results doing this, and not actually using as much weight as I used to in the past. So, but dumbbells, I think if you can do them, and I can just go a little heavier with the other machines when my shoulder's in a set place. And I don't like because that I'll get more grinding if I go heavier with the heavier dumbbells, and a lot less than I used to. I used to get them really bad. So it has definitely gotten a lot better, but it's until that scar tissue's freed for me and my scapula, I can't do as much on those as I would like. So. But yeah, those are probably the best. If you can do them as far as muscle recruitment, I think they're probably number one.
All right. Is your shoulder like, do you feel like a lot of pain with your shoulder when you're trying to, exercise and all that? Like, cause mine feels like somebody has put a large nail through the back of my shoulder. I mean, it hurts bad.
Yeah, well, you could. I don't have that, so that could be. You could have a significant muscle tear. Have you had an MRI?
No, not on my shoulder. Not
That
yet.
that should have probably been the first thing I did. But that is, if I were you, I would go get an MRI, and so you know exactly what you're dealing with, because you might have such a large tear that it's not going to heal on its own with rehab, and you're getting that sharp stabbing pain like that. That's indicative of having a muscle tear.
All right. Well, thanks, big guy, for your time. I appreciate you answering my questions. My son keeps asking me, when's the next time you're going to be on the Ryback show? So I had to call in today to the big guy.
Good deal. I hope you get that MRI scheduled if you can, though. I think you'll be good with that.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome, buddy. Take care.
All right, bye.
Yeah, anytime. And I'm glad he mentioned that. If you're dealing with a sharp pain like that, I don't have sharp pains like that because I don't have the tears. It's very likely. Now, it's possible he doesn't, but it's quite likely that he has a significant muscle tear back there, and that would you don't know unless you go find out. That's so. Good to see everybody. Welcome to the show. We had Bring Back Hustlin'. Hello. Welcome to the Ryback show.
Oh, hey, how's it going?
I'm well. How are you today?
Not too bad, man. Not too bad. It's been a little while since I've been on, but it's nice to see you again.
Well, I appreciate it. What's on your mind today?
Not much, man. I just wanted to, stop by and say hi, man. Beautiful times and the weather and everything's great. I don't really have much complaints there, But I just really wanted to come in and shoot the shit for a minute, say hi, and then I'll pass it on to someone else.
Oh, I appreciate it. Weather's great here in Vegas. It's
nice.
It's cooled off a little bit. We still have a little bit of heat left, but it's definitely the mornings and nighttime have cooled down a bit to where it's not hot 24/7 here. So
yeah, it gets warm there, eh?
Yeah. We still have a few. We got down to the 90s, and when it's in the 90s, it's very comfortable for most. It's not bad. It's when it gets into the hundreds, it's where we're still getting some. I think we have another couple weeks of randomly hitting those 105 days, 106. But the one we had a few or a couple week stretch where we were in that 110 to 115, 116 range. That's where it's just hot morning to night. Like you go outside in the morning, it's hot. You go out at night to go sit out back, it's hot. Like it just feels like the sun. Yeah, but now it's like I'm sitting out by the pool again at night and relaxing out with the dogs, and in the mornings watering, and it's not like you're not like sweating being outside. So
taking breaks to go water the plants and stuff, eh?
Yeah. So this is my September on is usually my September through December. I feel like is my favorite time of the year. Yeah,
for sure. It must be a little. You can tolerate it a bit more, for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. So I'm used to the heat. I just prefer the other times of the year. But it's great for getting a tan out there and going out in the hot tub in the pool and getting color during the summer months, because you darken up pretty quick in that high heat.
Mm-hmm. The other day, so where I live, I'm in Canada. So where I live, we have a once a year little carnival comes to town, and you take the kids and go see the clowns and all that shit. So we went there the other day, and I'm thinking, you know what? It's been kind of cool the last few weeks, so I'm not gonna wear a hat because I want to show off my new hairstyle. You know what I mean? I want to look cool. Well, it was so fucking hot that I got out of there by the end of the day, man, and my face was just dark, and like my whole skin, it's like tight to the. You know what I mean? It's tight from the sun, and you just can't move, and it hurts. Like, it was bad.
I bet. Man. Yeah, I've been burned. I've only been burned. I feel like I got burned really bad once as a kid at Wet and Wild. I was there all day, and I stopped putting on sunscreen. And I remember I came home. I was burnt to a crisp. My mom had to get. she had an aloe vera plant at home. We had to cut the leaves. She had to rub aloe vera all over my skin. It was like, I mean, I was screaming in pain. It was bad. Like I just stayed out. I didn't care. Like I should have. I was burning early on, and because I was in the sun a lot as a kid, so probably already had a bit of a sunburn when I went there, and then all day and didn't care. And I learned my lesson that day. It is.
Yeah, I remember that happening to me as a kid too, and I thought, oh, I have a T-shirt on, I'll be fine. Nope, that T-shirt somehow it made it worse, and I was just extra hot, and my skin was extra burnt, and I don't know what the hell I did. But like for 2 days, I couldn't go outside, and it was the summer, and I was young. I was like 12, 13 years old. I wanted to go play in the summer, man, and I couldn't go outside because I was just so burnt and so like heat stroke, and you know what I mean? Like I just needed to stay in and drink water. It sucked, man.
Yeah, as a kid too, you want to stay out there, but it's like all it takes. Once you get burned bad, you learn you don't want that ever to happen again. So
for sure, man. Shit. Well, thanks for having me for sure. You know, big guy, I always like to come in and say hi and stuff and have a good little conversation. It's good to hear from you.
Likewise, brother. I hope everything's well and appreciate you and have you back on here soon.
For sure, man. Definitely.
All right. Take care.
All the prayers to you, man. Stay up.
Thank you.
Yep.
Good deal. Thank you. Everybody, too, if you want to call in on TikTok or on IG or the other platforms, swing on over here to @Ryback on X Spaces, guys, and join on Twitter, X Spaces. Improl, let me see who this is. Tommy, welcome to the Ryback Show. You just got to turn on the speaker on the bottom left, Tommy.
My bad, Ryback. How you doing, man?
I'm well. How are you today?
Kicking it, brother. It's a long time listener. It's really good to be on. I couldn't figure it out for a second there, but I've been listening since way back, all the way back to the Pat Buck days.
Oh, awesome, man. I appreciate it. How's everything going?
Good, man. On my end, it's been pretty good today. You know, I took a week off work, so, you know, I'm following some of the regiments that you got there. But, yeah, I had a few questions about some things, and I figured I'd hang out with you.
Let's go. I'm ready. What's on your mind?
Let's do it, man. So, yeah, I know I mentioned way back when you used to do the show with Pat there. Did you guys ever resolve you guys' beef? Are you guys still on good terms or no?
I have not talked to Pat since all of that happened. I'm trying to think of the last conversation I had was when, because I explained all that. I told it was disappointing on all, and to this day, and I wish him all the best. I've always said, like, he's always very smart with wrestling and everything, but it was like he did some things wrong, and you know, I've moved on obviously from all of that. It just was more, it's when somebody's you consider them your best friend and he's managing your stuff, and like he's taking money, he's being dishonest on things, and you have to, you confront him to have a conversation about it with things, and he lies and then quits and then goes and does a podcast and does lies, which he didn't keep doing it. He did it just to go out and put out lies, and then has badmouthed me to people within wrestling. As far as, it's just like, Jesus Christ. But you know,
I mean, I heard from some people, because I listen to everybody, man. I listen to so much YouTube all the time and podcast things, and I just remember the guys like he was messing with other people. I remember, you know, I remember a guy really ranting on him a long time. I don't want to mention his name because
I already know who you're talking about. The guy contacted me, and he did the same formula that he did with me. He did this other guy who was one of his partners, and it is, brother. It is what it is. He's the one that has to live with that. Like me and him both know the truth of what happened with it. People can sit there. Yeah, I go, if your biggest argument is, I'm an egomaniac, which is not, like, couldn't be any further. I don't know how I'm the bad guy in the situation when I wasn't the one stealing. Whether I was like, that's one of those things. I was like, look, I've moved on. It is what it is. He's over where he is. I just know that me and him could never, you know, whether we ever talk or resolve the issue, and if there's an apology there or whatever the case may be, it's like, okay, we may be able to be, you know, around each other and be cool, but it's not somebody I would ever put the trust that I put into him before, because it would be a foolish mistake to make twice. But I can forgive and move on and just keep living my life. And it's an unfortunate thing. We got along really well. And like I said, he's very smart with wrestling, with everything like that. But that's on him with the things. And he knows. And I with him, we have mutual friends, you know, and they know, like I sent him a really nasty Voxer message with everything after all. I mean, nasty. It was, you know, been betrayed, have everything with WWE. And you're the guy that I trust with everything. And you're charging people money for interviews and for things. And like, who knows what outside of what I caught you doing? And it's like,
well, I remember that I listened to you, and I listened to this other guy. You don't want him mentioned, JC guy.
Yeah.
Him, he got in a beef. I just remember him getting in a beef with that, and then he realized it wasn't you; it was Pat or something.
Yeah, that's one of the people, and I don't even know how many other people that happened with on it. I've never charged anybody for an interview in my entire. But it's just stuff like that. So that's just, to me, if you're somebody's best friend, you don't put them, you don't try to sacrifice them. You know what I mean? It's my name and brand at stake on that. Whereas it's like, why would you do that? But that's issues that he has, and he's done stuff like this with other people in the past. And it is what it is. He has to live with it. And he knows, like, me and him both know the truth of what happened on that. And like, again, and I told him, like, I didn't bring it up. I go, the guy was my best friend. So I didn't talk about it forever with it. And like, I was like, it was an embarrassment. I go, what am I going to say? My best friend stealing money from me on my thing, and like, or being dishonest, like, and then quits the show when I'm under contract. It was like that. Luckily Phoenix stepped right in, and we kept everything moving with all of that. But it was like, man, it was frustrating. I left, and I left him a bad message, man. And I told him how I felt at the time with all of it. Because like, man, you don't do that. I would never in a million years do anything like that to somebody, to anybody, let alone my best friend. So it was man, just stupid. And to this day, like, the fact
trust somebody after something like that.
But it's like, I think I always tell people, like, just go read the foreword in my book that he wrote, the foreword and the kind words that he said. I go and go look, because if you ever hear me, I always say he's brilliant with wrestling, but he has and I don't know how he is now. And I know he's had kids, and hopefully he's changed for the better with all of that. But it's like, you just don't do that kind of stuff. But like, you like, go look, he says all these kind words, and all of a sudden I'm everything that he didn't say in that. I go, it just doesn't add up with all of it. So I was like, I'm always like very truthful. The worst thing I did in all that was leave him a nasty message after he was caught stealing with everything. And then he quit the show and tried to put it like, and try to paint me as the bad guy with all of it. So it is what it is.
It's so much drama and trust everywhere, though, man. But it's hard to move on. I get that. It's hard to move on when somebody stabs you in the back like that. But
well, we both did. But my thing is like, I will talk good. He's very smart with wrestling, though, and things. I've never once badmouthed any, like, but people like that, I know for a fact he's gone out of his way to say things that aren't true about me, because he's insecure about his position in wrestling, where he thinks that having me there, that people are going to then know the truth about him. I don't hold back on any of this. Like, that's not like, he's not going to ever stop anything coming back when I'm cleared, like, with any of that. But I told people in the past, like, I'm more than willing to have a conversation. But I was like, the conversation is, you stole from me. Are you sorry or not? If not, we'll just stay out of each other's way and go about our business. You won't be involved in anything I got going. I won't be involved in anything you're doing. And that's that. But it's like we're grown-ups here with this. I was like, but to deny the facts of what happened, it's just silly with all of it. And that's why I told people, like the mutual friends, one of them, like Hawkins, he was like, man, I heard that message. I go, yeah, he also stole a lot of money and did a lot of shady things to his best friend with all of it. So that message wasn't the starting point with all of it. So.
Yeah. And what do you Ryback, what do you think about the current situation? Like with the guys at AEW, you know, with the reports about like CM Punk with the, doesn't get along with other guys, so they moved wrestlers off the shows on Saturday to keep them separate. Does that seem crazy to you at all, with with people getting along?
No, I mean, I'm not there, so I don't know what's true and what's not true with all of it. I just know that I see one person being involved with a lot of the drama, if it is true, right, with all of it. But it's not. I'm not there, so I've literally give no thought to this outside of you guys like asking a question on it or something.
Right.
So I don't know what's going on. I just saw the same thing you probably saw on like Ryan Nemeth, and I know, like, me and Ziggler and Ryan, I've been friends with them forever with all of it, and so it doesn't shock me, that there's issues with him now supposedly, and if there is, but I'm not there, so who knows.
I guess I'll let you go, man. I'll let you move on to somebody else. I'll say, you know, Joe Cronin has a gigantic dong.
Moving on, get Seany on. Hello. Seany. Uh-oh. Is X not letting Seany back on?
Big guy.
Oh, I thought they were kind of trying to hold you back again.
No, I had my phone in my pocket. I was getting packages off my stoop. I didn't think you were gonna get to me that quick. How you doing, brother?
I'm well. I had to get the other jabroni off. I figured I have a feeling I know who that was.
Yeah, I saw. So I actually, it's funny that he brought that up with Pat Buck because I wanted to mention it to you, but I didn't want to be rude. Because I know I'm cool with Myers.
Yeah.
And Myers has the school with Pat Buck now.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty good. And I don't really, to be honest, I know Myers well. I don't know Pat Buck for a lick. You know what I mean? I really don't know him well at all.
Yeah.
But like, what did you guys? You had like a podcast together or something?
Yeah. Well, he was on the beginning stages. One of it used to be Conversation with the Big Guy, and he was on the.
I gotcha.
He was on the early. He started the show with me with all of it, and he actually had a podcast prior. He was the one that knew about podcasting and helped get all this going with all of it. It was his. It was his idea to do that. And I go, let me think about it and look, and we got the ball rolling on all of it. But he was very involved with all of that when we would do the weekly show. We used like because he was we were essentially best friends with that.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Like somebody broke it down to me.
Yeah. In
a little gist. And I went back and I watched it was like one video on YouTube about it, and I don't really believe anything I hear, with that shit, but. Yeah, he was my agent. He helped because he knew the independent scene, doing all that. So he was the one that helped figure out like getting me bookings and my rating. He got 10% of everything. He was my manager, but he was also my best friend. But then so as we're doing this, and I made a lot of money, doing those, and he helped with all that, getting all these booked while I was launching my supplements, but traveling every weekend. Dude, and doing fantastic. But we'd get together whenever I'd be doing East Coast appearance. Or it was one of his shows, dude. We would knock out 4, 5, 6, 7 podcasts, dude. Like we would do the night. We would just get some alcohol. We'd have the old podcasting equipment, and we knocked it all out. Like it was a really good time. And the shows. Yeah, that's why I saw like all the clips from WrestlePro. And like that was his first school before they opened Creator Pro. So I was like, wow, like I it's sad when I see shit like that happen, honestly. Like I don't know. Oh,
it's horrible. So he had, as we did the show, me and him never really ever had arguments. Like, I mean, never. We lived together he was with me back when I got rehired. And like he was in FCW, like, and he moved in with me again in Tampa when I had my apartment, when he was trying to get signed. And like he was like he was never signed. That was always the thing with all of, but he was always involved, and he would like do beginners classes. We always got along great, man. And like we got along really well. Like never had anything. And then doing the show. And I noticed he started getting agitated at little things. And then there was something, I remember I remember the first time I think he ever got agitated where he showed it. We were doing the show, and it was the day that what was the head singer when Linkin Park, the guy that passed?
Oh yeah, yes. Oh my God, I'm gonna.
Chet.
Yeah,
Benningworth. Chad, is it Chad? Chet.
I'm so mad that I don't know this because I just woke up. Hold on.
I love that you just woke up. The Benningworth.
Chester Bennington.
Chester thing. I knew it was something. I kept saying Chester. No, but it was that I loved it. I still listen to Linkin Park, and that was a big part of me growing up.
I love Linkin Park. That first album is my favorite album.
Bro, I can listen to that stuff all day when I'm working out, and like he'd passed away, and right before we went to commercial, there was something like we did something, and he brought it up, or I brought it up, and like I'm very like immune to death, like in the sense of if I don't know somebody,
but like I like, whereas I don't know how to, like, I've never, and I've been involved with family members and dogs, and like, I don't know how to, like,
if you don't know anybody, you don't feel like the empathy for them.
No, I do. No, but it was, we did it and acknowledged it, but it was in like, it came up in like at a portion of the show, and like we had a lot of the show to keep going. And like, there was something where like the show just kept going after it was mentioned and we talked about it. And I'd have to like, but I remember when we took a commercial and he was like upset. He was like, what are we supposed to talk about? I don't know what, like, and I was like, what do you, like, it was the first time he ever got like upset and over something of like, I was like, well, we're doing a podcast. Like but it was whatever. It was, that was the first time like ever anything where he'd ever showed any frustration or being upset. But then I go, what are you upset over? Like, I'm the one that always would initiate talking to him. Pat is not as good at communicating, or he wasn't at that time. I was always the one that would, if there was a problem or something would come up, I feel like, what's wrong? Okay, what did I do something to upset you? Like, I would be the one that would, whatever you want to call it, would reach out to try.
That would communicate.
Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't just hold it in. I would like, what's the problem? And even if it took a day, hey, why are you really upset, or whatever it is? And that happened a couple times, and everything was great. And we talked, and he was doing these things on the other email of like charging or trying to charge people, or like wanting, like just doing weird things of like, with at the time, the sponsors of keeping sponsor money. Like, they gave a bonus I knew nothing about. And some of this is like very trivial. Like, it's not like the end of the world sort of thing. It's just not something you do as a best friend and somebody being your manager. Like, and that was the big issue to me. I go, and I tried when all this, and I started adding up, and I noticed, like, I was like, why is he getting frustrated after all these? Like, something was going on. And I don't know if he didn't have money, because obviously if you have money, you don't do stuff like that. Like, if money's not an issue, you're not trying to scrape and take extra money off of somebody where you're getting paid already with it. So something was going on. This is before he got hired and was working with WWE or AEW with it. Yeah. And so I called him like I always had, or whatever it was. And I asked him about this stuff. And this wasn't like made up. This is factual stuff that happened. Like, he was taking money. He was trying to charge people for interviews, and we had enough stuff. And I just go, I tried to like talk to him, and he just flat out quit on me. And because he knew he was caught with it. And so he just left me dry and hanging on the show. And like, then there was some other things, like he put the show in his name, like with everything when I didn't know how to create the podcast to start. I didn't know what I know now. And so he goes, don't worry about it. I'll take care of all of it. It was my show though with it. It wasn't his show. He was a part of my show with it. Yeah, I was the one, like, and like, so he had put it all in his name, like just weird little things. And like, he was giving me a really hard time of signing it over to me with it. Like little things out. And so I didn't talk about any of this when all this happened. I just said he's not part of the show anymore, and I moved on. I had Phoenix Marie stepped in, and I was under contract for another how many ever months, whatever it was, like where you got to put out one show a week with it, or you got to return everything. And I was like, and so we kept everything going. And then how many ever, if it was weeks or months, he like tried to start up his own show, and then like came out and like just buried me. You had
a contract to podcast,
or for whatever the audio boom, where you got to put out one show a week, where they're getting like it was a contract for the first year of the show.
That's awesome, bro.
Or whatever it was. Our first early on shows were very good, man. We did very good on the audio listens every week on that, and I knew nothing, dude. I didn't even track any. I didn't know anything about that. Like, I just didn't. But we were making good money for that early on, and it was like, if we never would have broke up or any of that, then man, it would have. It was a winning formula.
I just hope, whatever happened, big guy, like, I hope that one day you guys can, hopefully, like, amend it. And, because I have people that know, like, Pat, that say he's a great guy. And I have people that know you that say you're a great guy. So, hopefully, whatever happened in the past, let you guys can let bygones be bygones. And
I agree. The thing is like, I never, outside of doing the show, whatever it was, where I finally talked about the whole thing, it was years after. And I think I even took that down at some point, but it was just like, it was telling what I'm talking to you about now. Nobody knew, so everybody was assuming his big thing was I was an egomaniac. And I'm just like, wait a second. So does that justify the things that you've done? Like, and it was like, it was a crazy situation. And he knew that was going to be the thing that bothered me the most if he went and said things like that weren't true. But I think I've moved on with all of it. It does suck with all of it. I just go, but me and him know the exact truth of what happened.
Yeah, you had bigger fish to fry.
Right.
You know,
but my thing was, it was just like I had all my stuff with WWE and everything, and like going, here's the other thing he got mad, and I'm just going to give you another thing. He was mad because I needed a 5-disc fusion and shoulder replacement, and like I didn't even tell him certain things for a while because like I didn't want that getting out because I didn't want to make it look like I was damaged goods.
I see.
And so I'm dealing do all this time, and he would get mad. He was the one that came up with my booking fee. Like, bro, we were getting anywhere from 4,000 or 5,000 on shows, and then for him, I would work for a little less for his shows, right? Because but he was like wanting more of a brother rate, and I'm like, and this is even after he knew I was hurt, and I just told him I literally would communicate. I go, just don't book me for your shows if you don't want to pay the thing. I'll not be upset at you. Like I like if I'm going to do these shows and sacrifice my health, I want to make as much as possible. He understood. I was like, I'm really hurt. Like with this, I was like, if we're doing this is to finance my supplement company and to supplement my income while I'm spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to launch all this with everything. Like if I do this, like it's like I need a return of like doing these. I'm not going at like this isn't going out to create a name for myself. It is to make as much money as possible in case I have to stop wrestling forever. I'll have as much money as I have. You know what I mean? To be okay for me and my family. Like these conversations took place with it. So like, but he would book me on the shows and he always made money with me until I think it was his last one and he had like Lashley. He had a lot of names on the show or more people. Like Swoggle was there. I think Tommy. He had a good amount of people. It was the Rawway Rec Center. The one I wrestled AR Fox.
Rec Center, that's a big spot. The Rawway Rec Center, like from what I learned.
And we had a great house, but he bought a billboard. He was telling me he paid a lot of money for billboard advertising for that. But for whatever, so that after that night, I had that match with AR Fox, and I was really, really I was like getting close to coming to the end. Like I was like, I'm bad. And I put a lot into that match. I know AR. Like I was one of his favorites, I think, or he liked me a lot prior. And then years ago when I was in WWE. And so I was like, oh, let's, I'm going to really try to do as much as I can and get out of this. Okay. And after the thing, I was in my hotel. I remember Pat we always voxed each other, and he was talking about something, but he was frustrated, and he was saying he lost money, or he thinks he lost money on the thing, on the show. And I go, and I literally, and I go, I think he said he lost $1,000 for doing the show. And I think he would pay me, I want to say it was either $300 or $3,500 for the shows for that, or something in that neighborhood, whatever it was though. And I go, well, here, I'll send you $1,000 back on that. Like something just so he didn't lose money at least. And he got really upset. And I'm just thinking to myself, I go, well, am I supposed to give you all my money? I'm wrestling. I need a goddamn 5-disc fusion and shoulder replacement. And I didn't tell him that. I go, who else offered you money back? I go, I'm at least offering you $1,000.
None of that in those independent wrestlers.
No. But in his head, he just thought like, I know how he was thinking. It was like, it's like if I made a bad deal for Feed Me More Nutrition, I wouldn't go to Pat and say, give me money with it. I was like I can't control how you do other business with other people. I've got a lot of other stuff going on top of getting ready to
I see what you're saying. He felt so close to you that he felt and you would have never asked that if
he was vilifying me, I think, for things going on, for things if like the show like where that wasn't my deal. But at the same time, I'm like, I go, did Lashley offer to give you money back? Did Hornswoggle? Did anybody or are you mad at me because you booked me for something and then you did these billboards thing that didn't work out as well that you probably maybe shouldn't have done, or like that was your decision to do? I can't control what your budget for certain things like on all of that. To
be fair, like billboards never work in wrestling.
No,
but in WWE, why would you get a billboard? The only way to get your name, like Brian does it perfectly on the indie scene, like with Creator Pro, like they pack out every show.
Yeah, they always do good. But my thing, but Pat knew. But here's where I was going with that. Pat knew he didn't have to book me for those. But he chose to book me for those and to pay the rate that we had set with it. Despite me telling him, I go, if you don't have to book me for your shows. I'm not going to be mad. Like we have plenty of other bookings coming in where I'm making plenty of money. I'd rather go do a show for 4,500 or 5,000 anyways.
I see. You're saying he felt like he had to
because he always made money with me. So he liked booking me because he made money with me on this. And so, but these are things though that like that it's so petty and not like. But the thing is like this the taking from me or not being completely honest. I go, if you're truly somebody's best friend with this, you don't act in that manner. Or like, but he's always had a problem, and this isn't me. He's always had a problem communicating with things, and it comes from childhood and things.
He seems kind of quiet.
He's very quiet. I'm one of the first people where I got to know him. And as far as when we lived together and we had a bond with wrestling, and he knows I love wrestling and I know he loved wrestling. And like we're very different in certain things, but we spent a lot of time together. Like we went through breakups together, and like we were literally best friends of like growing up together in two different, like living together in Louisville. It's a shame it all happened with it.
When it thundered out, did you hug each other and sing the thunder song?
Dude, no, I can't say everything that we did on certain things, like with living in Louisville. We had like, but it was, he's always just had things where it like there's certain things and like he's just done that he's had another life outside of where I knew him, like back east and like, like the wizard stuff. Are you familiar with the wizard stories with the guy?
No.
I'll let you can get that.
Yes. Oh my God, no! My friend Sunil, he.
But I don't even want to bring it back up for his sake. But like this stuff that happened and like with other people, and like I always questioned like it. But I never understood. I just like of doing that to another human being, regardless of if they want you to or not. And like, but it comes down. Here's the thing, and only Pat can overcome his own issues. And I feel like he probably either has or could because he's making money now. Because before you don't do that stuff if you have sufficient money with it, or you just.
I heard the guy Wizard was paying, not Pat. I heard it was somebody else that he was paying for like his car, his apartment, and like
there was a lot of stuff going on. I wasn't there. Like I don't know, and I don't want to know. I just know that if a guy wants to be in his underwear, I don't care how much money he wants to give me. I'm not going in and shell shocking him in his house. Or like out by his pool or some shady hotel room. And I'm certainly not going to let him go take me to Denny's afterwards and pay for my meal after I meat hook him and shell shock him and choke him out in a big guy guillotine in the hotel room as he pisses and poops all over himself. Like I'm not, but hey, and I always said, I just go and like, they always made it sound so innocent and like, but that's their life. Like whatever, they are the ones that have to live with it. But like, I'm not, all I'm saying is, and look, I'm not perfect by any means. But I just go, if you take the information at hand and like, I go, and his big defense was, I'm an egomaniac. And it's like, okay, I'm the bad guy. Cool. Like with all of that, like if that's what I'm a huge egomaniac and I'm out of control, brother. Like, even though that's not the case, but if that's your big defense of everything, great. Like,
it's so funny you said that because like at first I was like, ooh, and then I remembered my friend, he told me stories about how like this guy would pay them to literally put him in wrestling moves and chokeholds and he was like an older guy and like
really old
and, like like super old, and he would give them like $1,000 at a pop just to do it. Like, and like it's crazy. I heard that too, and I'm like, who the hell would do that?
So there's things going on with these people.
If I needed money, I wouldn't do that. You know what I mean?
Same here. And I had people offer that when I was in developmental. I've talked about it when I lived in Louisville, and actually we lived together before I got re-signed. There was somebody a politician in Kentucky who would nonstop message me on Facebook and wanted me to dress up as a Terminator Ryback and come to this hotel like hours away and beat him up in a hotel. And he offered me all this money. He was offering 10, 15,000 ridiculous amounts. And I just go, and dude, I had nothing. And like, I would have been very easy just to go, oh, I'm going to go do it for no, thank you. Like, it's not. So I don't understand that line of thinking of like, it's not even an option Like,
yeah, that's like, bro, some people are like what they like. And listen, what people like, they like. I get it, but like, who wants to get beat up sexually? Like that's fucking that's weird.
let alone by me in a Terminator outfit with my spiked jacket and like.
Big guy, wear your best Terminator outfit for me,
The
baby.
the guy wanted me to have the red contact lens in with my spiked jacket, vest, and my Ryback tights and boots to show up, just knock on the hotel door, and I'm back.
You're getting dressed, and you like to go, and your girlfriend's like, "Hey, big guy, what are you getting dressed for? You going to WWE?"
Babe, we're gonna don't ask any questions, but we're going out for a really nice dinner tomorrow. Anything you want on me. No, but I don't want to look. Those people make decisions, and like but my thing is, it's an unfortunate thing that has happened, and I feel like I unblocked him quite a while ago on everything. I'm happy that he's had success. Like, I've always been able to speak well of people, even if I've had issues with him. He's even
wrestling again. So
yeah. So I'm not. And look, but my thing is like he would have to acknowledge at some point, like, look, yeah, I made these mistakes and things, and then it's not. I know that I'm sure he's upset that I left him a mean message and said mean things to him after he did everything he did. I'm sure he's upset over that. He saved the message. Like, I know he's upset. So, but it's like that wasn't that was the final thing of that was the last time we ever talked. So.
Yeah, I listen. I hope whatever happened, you guys can come and just talk it out. And listen, things, time has a way of kind of making things a little better.
Oh yeah, well, I'm not upset like I was. Like, oh, I was fuming, brother, with all like I was. I was. So that the time definitely diffuses all of that.
Just to see, I love it. Like, I hate when like people are really like cool or like even family, right? Like, you know each other forever, and you would die for each other, and then so it's very hard to do business with people you know.
Oh, that's what I learned, not to do anything with you don't want to do business with friends. That's something I was like, you hear it all the time because that's literally the perfect. That's exactly is if we never would have done that, I would not have been exposed to him wanting to steal from me or to skim money to like, and it all comes though. But here's the thing, and he would have to acknowledge and I think that once you have more money, he's probably making more money and is more comfortable now that he's been under contract with the companies, where he can look back and hopefully see like, maybe I shouldn't have acted these ways, even though in his mind though, he has a family, he's trying to make ends meet. And maybe at the time he didn't realize like this isn't something that a person would do in that position to their friend, like with that.
You never know.
And it is what it is on all of it. I wish him the best.
I agree. My dad always told me never live with your friends, like your really close friends. Never, if you lend them money, just don't. It's a gift. Don't even think that you're gonna get it back.
No, he's spot on, man. Because
those two things have like saved a lot of friendships in my life, to be honest.
Yeah. But at the same time, though, it's good to know. Though it's like, man, it's like, though it's like, well, at least I know. Though I know what the situation is. That's where I said, like, even if things get resolved, and hopefully they will at some point. But it's like I don't ever see things like you can never let that ever get to that point ever again.
Yes, that's the thing. You're right. You can forgive, but you don't forget. And that's it.
Unless, and it depends. That's something though. I would have to hear how everything's explained too.
Yeah, I also agree. I think you're right. It's a part of how it's explained and the actions moving forward,
Yeah.
I truly believe that, like, people do make mistakes sometimes. And like you said, like, hey, maybe he didn't have money. Like, I'm not talking about him personally. I don't know him. But, like, maybe somebody doesn't have money and then they make a mistake and they take $1,000 from you. And you're like, hey, why did you do this to me? And then they lie. You stop talking to them. And then 5 years later, you find out they really needed that money more than you, and it's not right? But
absolutely,
you could have been like, "Hey, why wouldn't you just ask?"
That's the big thing. But this is where I say, and he knows it comes down to it's a thing. He's not as good at communicating, And that's why I'm more aware of it, the situation.
And that's a pride thing. Like that's even. Like,
and that's what I'm saying. He's gonna at some point he's gonna realize either like, look, maybe I'm not, or it's gonna be something that he's just gonna keep holding on to. But like I can't control that. Like I've let it. The situation's over. It's negligible anything that ever happened in the of it. Like so.
Yeah.
Like,
are you fighting Goldberg, big guy?
Yeah, we've got bigger fish. I just talked to my agent again, Shawnee. He's reaching back out again. Bill's been bouncing around with his son for all the colleges, but
yes, that's right.
We're trying to get like I told him, I go, look, I go, if we can't get it, I go, we're going to move on to the next target. And I said, I go, let's just try to get an answer in the next couple of weeks, hopefully, of getting us to sit down.
If Bill falls through?
Yeah, I've got multiple things. So I'm not, I'm not worried about like, that's just my number one option of what I want.
Yeah. I was just busting balls because everybody asks the same question.
It's just, brother, nobody hears. There's still people that don't even know that I was injured, like that don't even know like any of this has gone on. Some people just stopped watching wrestling and don't even know that I left WWE. They just think.
Yeah, they see you on and they're like, oh, I love Ryback.
Yeah.
They think you're still there.
Yeah, brother. Oh man, he was my favorite champion. Like they just. I just go along. Yeah, brother, still going strong.
So I went back and I started watching more videos on you and stuff, and I saw what the CM Punk feud that you had.
Yeah.
And first of all, he says you missed the table. You got the table. It was just on the end of the table.
Correct.
He didn't hit the cement full on.
No, but so Shawnee, just so you know too, on this, there was padding all around the area. I can actually show you on the video if we got it. I'll actually point it out to you. I did a video on this and actually highlighted it for people where the WWE put padding before this stuff was done and then laid the carpet down because that carpet wouldn't normally have been there. Or if it was,
I see. So there's padding under.
There's thick padding underneath this, not just under the table, but like feet past the table on all of this.
Wow.
Yes.
And then he goes on, and I like Colt Cabana.
I do too. Colt I've always got along well with him.
And he's just a man. He's always been kind to me. Like every time he sees me, he's like he goes out of his way. And I heard the thing on the podcast, and he's like, what are you fucking dumb, stupid or something like that? And then I'm like, who says a story like that? Like this is why I don't like him, and I'll never like him because like he really is like you could just tell like. He's just like a piece of crap, Like that's the best way to say it.
If he doesn't like somebody or if he gets upset and like I never back down on anything. Like I've seen, and there's a lot of everything that's kind of happening going on currently. It's like not shocking to those of us that know in the business. Know like, and if you don't know, you're never gonna know. But I never. Me and him always got along prior to other things. It's when money got involved and I got red hot. And like, there's a story going around. I didn't even know this. And this has been people. There's a story that he went up to, there was a kid at a diner after one of the shows. A little kid was wearing a Ryback shirt that he punked out for wearing a Ryback shirt. And this huge adult heard the thing and went over to him and punked punk out. And he left like with it. Wow. But like, he made the little kid cry because he was wearing a Ryback shirt.
If that is real,
I'm not, this is the kind of stuff. But like I've seen him do this with WWE people when he's more powerful that like he talks down to them and try like to belittle them. This isn't a made up thing with it. And like, and I didn't know this until I got there. He never could do this to me though. And he never would dare ever try to do that with me with it. But he was he was a little political master and he's very good at that end of things in causing drama and disturbance. He always has been. And he like, so nothing is shocking to me that goes on involving him. Within this, I still think he's great at other things in wrestling and like, but like there's some real serious character issues here on things. And I've been very like, I'll never back down from that. Like, and people go, oh, you can never get hired. Brother, we're adults with all of that. More than I can draw and make money. People don't worry about it.
100%.
Like, people are scared of like to talk about this stuff. Like Hangman, if I were Hangman Page, man, and I wanted these guys to resolve this. If you ain't going to work an angle, brother, you got to defend yourself at some point too, though. Like he's gonna.
I'm sure Hangman will because he said he called him a peg warmer, and you know what a peg warmer is, right?
Yeah. Like I saw that. I saw the thing after the show.
It's when your toy hangs on the pegs.
I wouldn't know anything about it, but yeah, I've heard.
But that's what it is. Yeah. So,
I'm kidding.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Ryback's so cocky and arrogant.
But like I'm watching it and I'm like, yo, did he just say that he broke his pelvis because of this? And I'm looking at the bump and I'm like, listen, I know anything.
By the way, that didn't happen. So just to clarify, he had an issue. All this would have came out on the internet the week that it happened. It had all that he said happened. One, it never happened. He went through the table still. Was it perfect?
Yeah.
No. He went through the table. He landed on padding, and there was nothing. He didn't break his pelvis. He didn't miss any time. I've never been talked to. WWE didn't pull me aside. Nobody said the stunt went as planned. Everybody knew that he fell on padding. The table still broke with all of it. But people won't listen to the facts on the situation. They just take what he says and goes, "Oh, Ryback's dangerous," and that's it.
Yes, that's.
But he knows what he's doing when he does that. But he does this with the other. You're seeing a pattern of other guys him doing it. So I go, the truth always works itself out.
Yeah, 100%. So I got some fun facts today. You ready? You want to hear some fun
Let's
facts?
go. Yeah.
Okay. So a shrimp's heart is actually in its head.
Really?
Yes. So like, you wouldn't be able to, if you were a shrimp big guy, you wouldn't be able to smack your head. Stupid.
Unless I'm giving myself CPR.
Where did that come from, big guy? When you slap the head and do the stupid thing, where did that come from?
I don't know. I think it's a combination of movies that I saw, and like I want to say because Dumb and Dumber was on a while. I think Lloyd hits his head, and like when he says he does something, I was trying to think because I get asked that quite a bit. It was just something like I've always associated when you do something stupid, like hitting your head, and I think I just did it in one of my matches because I always try to do things to like get over, like animation wise. And it was with one of the locals. And I don't know if they messed up something and and I just did something to react to them messing up or forgetting something. And I just hit my head and said stupid, but I know it was one of those situations for the first time.
Got it. The second one is the strongest muscle in the body. And I mean, on me, it's a little different, but it's the tongue on normal people.
Hold on. What's the strongest muscle on the body?
The tongue. But for me, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, okay, I got you now. Okay. Shawnee's delivering the 1-2 punch for people.
Yeah, they call it in high school. They call me Shawnee Tripod.
Oh man.
And I'll give you one more good one. All right.
If you don't have anything, I was going to say, because are you keeping up with the baseball player?
Oh, which one?
The one I just saw, the Disco Inferno just tweeted a thing, and I looked it up before we started the show. The guy for the Rays, the Franco.
Oh yes. Oh my God, he's dating like a 14-year-old or something.
Bro, yeah. So like, I wanted to ask you because like, what's going on with this? Because I went and read the story before real quick on a New York Post thing. But they said they gave him the day off on Sunday because it was it was Franco snapback hat day for 14-year-olds and under. So my thing was, I was like, I wonder if she got one of the snapbacks. Give me the details. What's going on here?
Okay, so what happened was with that is, so he is from DR, I believe. And
Dominican Republic.
The Dominican Republic, and in Dominican Republic, it's very normal for an older guy to date a younger woman. It's not like in the States where
is it legal? So what's the situation out there with it?
It is legal out there, yes, absolutely. It's not illegal, but they look at it. You know, when you're in the States and you're playing baseball in the States, you know, then it becomes very serious.
Oh, right? Yeah. No, especially with everything going on this day and age over here with all the.
But I don't know if you remember that, you know, do you remember when we were younger, there was a player in the Little League World Series and he was like 5 years older than everybody else? Do you remember that? His name was Danny. What do you call it?
Was he the pitcher or no?
Yeah, no. I'm I'm trying to think. Hold on. I'm trying to look his name. Hold on.
Was it the kid that was like way bigger than everybody, or is that
Danny Almonte in the 2001 World Series?
That name sounds really familiar.
Yes, it was huge. It was everywhere. And he lied about his age, and they caught him. And he was from the DR as well, I believe.
I do remember this now briefly. Now that you're bringing this up with somebody that got caught, because I used to watch all that religiously playing baseball.
Yeah, and it was like a huge thing. Like, and I'll never forget it because I was 11 at the time. He was supposed to be the same age as us, like at the time.
What crazy, yeah.
And they had faked his birth certificate, which is very normal. Like when you're from another country and you he actually played for the Bronx. So like we were invested so much in that World Series because he was representing New York City, you know?
Yeah.
And then that came out and it was like, oh my gosh, you know, he threw a no-hitter that year and everything. Like it was insane. And he was throwing like 80 miles per hour.
Yeah, that's what I remember. Yeah, he was clearly above everybody else.
Yeah, so like they said, like there was rumors that led to him being older than 12 or whatever. So they did that team from Staten Island hired a private investigator to look into the ages of the whole team or whatever, and apparently like a bunch of the kids were way older than what they said, you know. So, but anyway, So they're saying that this guy Wander has this relationship with a 14-year-old,
and he's 22. I saw, correct?
Yeah, he's 22. Yes, exactly. So like over there, like they don't look down upon it, and in many countries, to be honest, like it's not. It's kind of weird, like the way that the world works, because it's like
it's not a universal. There's not a universal age.
There's not a universal age or a thing like, and like even if you read back into like older times, like even in the U.S. like and other civilizations, like it was normal for a guy to have a younger. And to me it's like so strange, but I guess people didn't live long back then. Like now we live until we're 80.
Yeah,
like people back then they only lived until they were 40.
The lifespan was definitely shorter different periods. Yeah, it's Shawnee, you there?
We lived until they I'm sorry, I got a call. I just exited out. But like people lived until, if you lived till you're 30, that was a big age, right?
Yeah.
Like you know, like the
Oregon Trail days. It just takes one little.
Oh my God, that's it. You get a little cut,
scurvy or whatever, you're done.
You're throwing dirt on it.
Yeah.
You think it's gonna heal.
Snake bite while you're sleeping. Oh, that's the end.
Yeah, like you know, and then they just and then you went like even the smallest symptom of a cold.
Yeah.
Took people out back then. So,
like, but these guys though, because I know, but they clearly are explained that when they get over here, that like the age of. Even in the States, so that age is different depending on the state, even, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it is. Yeah, there's some that's 16 and there's some that's 18.
Yeah.
Like, so there's some that's 16 with like there's with permission from the parents. So you have to have consent from the parents, whatever. But like, it's just like. And the only reason why I know this stuff is because I used to I watch those people who set up the pedos.
Yeah.
You know, like they pretend to be a little girl and then they go meet them and they get them. You know.
Yeah, Christopher Hansen, Dateline. Which, by the way, that show was insane.
Bro, that was.
Craig, why don't you pull up your pants and take a seat, please?
Hey, Craig. Thanks for bringing pizza and coffee.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Craig, why don't you empty out those pockets there? Tell us what you brought today.
Yeah, I wasn't trying to do anything, and then he pulls out his pockets. Yeah. He has 10 packs of condoms.
Is that a pack of Trojan Extra Snug, Craig?
And this is the type of thing, like you just, it scares me so.
Oh, as a
much.
parent, I couldn't even imagine but there's is there any details of this, like how they met or what happened? Did anything happen, or Was he dating her? Was there, did stuff happen, or are they trying?
I mean, apparently he's dating her. Like, that's it. There's no big story around it. You know, he's just you know, he posted pictures, and she really does look young. If you take a look at it,
yeah.
You know, he really, like, I was like, oh my God, like, she looks young.
He ain't gonna get it. He's gonna. I mean, just the way that he's done. If that's the way everything is here, like,
yeah, I mean, that's what everything I'm reading was like. If they find out that this is true, sorry, big guy, the Toyota's calling me. But yeah, so if they find this out, he's cooked for sure.
Yeah. Gee, you don't have I just noticed, I think they have a recall on their Tundras. You don't have a Tundra. There's a gas, there's a thing with the pipe causing fires. If you do, I want you to answer it.
Oh yeah, no, I got a CHR.
Okay.
Toyota CHR. It's like a crossover, you know. They're trying to get me to sell my car because they stopped making my car. They only made it for 1 year. And
oh wow.
It's a very wanted car, and it became what's called the Toyota Cross. And the people are asking for the CHR, so they're trying to get me to sell it to them and buy the new car so that they could go sell that car to somebody else. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Have you taken that call, though, to see how high you can get them?
I did. I took the call, but I didn't go in person. I'm a salesman, so I do all my sales in person. I try, you know, when it comes to that.
Well,
stuff,
those places,
you know?
too, won't talk numbers usually unless you come in person, too.
Exactly, but I want to be there in person because when I look at them in the face, I know whether they're lying to me, you know? So I'm pretty good a judgment at that.
You should just go in, though, with the intent of just trying to get the most ridiculous amount of money within reason.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go in I'm gonna get a Terminator. You know,
I would like to go with you. Actually, see, I'll go just to listen in to an imposing figure with this. I won't say a word the entire time, but like I'll keep my arm around your shoulder so it makes it very awkward. They think that like we're there together. And like,
big guy, imagine the gold of the video if me and you go in the what do they call that again? The
strip club?
You wear for wrestling. What is that called?
The what?
The thing you wear for wrestling, like
my singlet.
Yeah, singlet. Yeah, imagine if me and you go and we're wearing singlets and we go to Toyota to trade in a car. Oh my God, that would be the best video ever. Or
I still have all my Ryback gear. I just dress up as Ryback, Terminator Ryback, and you go in normal as Seany trying to get the deal. And I'm just hovering around you. No words. You just tell people I like to come around you from time to time. And I will just be like Arnold, kind of inspecting everything, walking around the lot.
That would be gold, bro. That would be gold. Oh, man. Well, thanks. I'll let you take another caller, big guy. Thanks for having me.
All right, buddy. You have a good one. Thank you as always.
You have a great day today, brother.
You too, Seany. Good deal. Oh, man. All right. I missed a super chat here. Somebody asking the tough questions. John Poirier, thank you, says, what's your favorite cheese? Sorry. Oh, such a random question. What's your favorite cheese? I'm just going to go cheddar. We're going to go cheddar. Cheddar and nacho cheese are my two favorite cheeses. A nice cheddar grilled cheese, though, is tough to beat. Just wake up on a Monday morning, afternoon. I think I'm going to ask Ryback what his favorite cheese is. Thank you very much, buddy. I'm sure you had your reasons. I'm not, and I don't judge. It just caught me off guard. Jimston says, you beast, what are you drinking? Feed me more. I'm drinking my Feed Me More Nutrition cotton candy finish it BCAA electrolyte matrix today. On that, thank you. Yeah, Timber says you just offended Gouda and mozzarella. No, I love those cheeses as well, guys. There's no offending other things just because you said cheddar's your favorite. Leave it up to people online, though. It's like somebody saying, "What's your favorite fruit?" and you say oranges, but they're like, "What? You apples don't suck. Why is it in apples?" It's like, well, maybe apples is your favorite fruit, little Jimmy. With it, I like oranges or I like watermelon. You know, it was asked to me. You could go ahead and devote a whole page to apples. I don't care. That's why it's good to stay off Twitter as much as possible. I can't tell you more and more. I just keep it off my phone outside of when I use it for the stuff, and then it's just avoid at all costs. It's like I don't even want to be exposed to what people are thinking. Let me see here. Maybe do one more caller. Bring in Justin for a question today.
Hey, Ryback, what's up?
Not much. How you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's been a while since I've been on here. It's awesome to be able to talk to you again.
Good deal. I appreciate it. What's on your mind today?
Not too much. First question. I got a couple questions for you. I hope not to take too much of your time, but okay. I want to talk to you about you versus Goldberg. Is the plan to have it in AEW?
There are no plans yet until we talk. We got to see what's going on.
Okay. Yeah. No, I got you. Would you rather it be in AEW?
We've talked about this probably 20 times.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm behind. Also, if you were to take on Goldberg, though, I know how good you are in the ring. I've seen the indie matches towards the end of
my WWE matches are all fantastic as well, though.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no, but it's not indie matches are no different than the WWE matches. So.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, yeah, I know you've kept yourself in shape. I know you're still great in the ring. You're going to be great when you come back. Are you at all worried about Goldberg's
ring ability? No, we've talked about no.
All right, fair enough. I think if you guys have that match, that'd be a great match.
What do you know about Goldberg's in-ring ability, though? Outside of, are you just going by things you've read on dirt sheets and stuff, or like what do you think? What makes you think that Goldberg's not capable of doing a last match?
Well, it's nothing against Goldberg. I think if he puts his mind to it, I think you and him could have an awesome match. I just worry because of his age. That's all.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter. He needs to be motivated, and he needs to know what he needs to go in there and do. He needs to care about it. That I'm not doing it unless he does. If I talk to him if I think he's only doing it for the money and he doesn't care, I won't do it. Right. I need to talk to him, and we need to see. Like, I know what I'm doing with this. I know how good I am. I know what to do with it, and I could tell if somebody like if the work has to be put in to be able to go out, effort needs to be max 10 out of 10. I can't have 4 out of 10 or 3 out of 10, even though I just need to know where he's at with everything. We need to talk, and hopefully we can get it all done. I think he will be. I think with what I have, the ideas that I have, I think I can motivate him even more. And I know what I can bring out of him, and I know what I bring to the table. So I just sit back. If we can get it done, we get it done. If we don't, I move forward, and it doesn't hurt me one bit. So we'll see what happens.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've seen a couple of Goldberg's matches lately. The one against Bobby Lashley, I thought he did a great job. Did you by chance watch that match?
I've seen the most. I'd have to go back and watch specific. I know it was his last one against Lashley, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. And again, I just think it's a matter of, and if he has time he was put in positions where they didn't give him a lot of time to prepare either on different situations with that. And that's I'm privy to certain things. I just think if he has time and he can control it, I think a great Goldberg shows up. So.
Got you. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he would want his last match to go bad.
Yeah, true.
I think everything would fall into place.
I gotcha. Yeah. I think, when you come back and if you guys were to get that match going, I think that would be really awesome. I think it'd be an easy story to tell. And I think, you guys would have some awesome promos, and I think that would be awesome. But, another question I've got for you is, have you seen Kurt Angle or Maven's YouTube channels? Or would you ever collab with them?
I don't know what Kurt, I know, does his podcast. I don't know if I haven't seen Kurt's actual YouTube. I've seen Maven's stuff that Maven's doing. I think he's doing very good.
Yeah, I think what I love it.
I'd have to see. I don't know what Kurt is doing. I'll have to go look and see though. But I know the Maven one but both have great personalities. So it's not shocking that it's more wrestlers need to be doing more on social media. They should be. So I'm glad to see them expanding over there, because this platform can be very, very the best out of all of them when everything's going good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think Maven only got going recently.
Yeah,
and he's already on fire. So I love what he's doing. I got I was going through my computer the other day, Ryback, because I knew there was more times I saw you live, because my uncle back in the day, he was a pilot, right? So I would fly for free, and I would go to WWE events all the time. And I was in Atlanta for your match against CM Punk at Hell in a Cell. I was at another couple Monday Night Raws. I was at Elimination Chamber 2013. I remember I was also at your WWE Championship match with CM Punk. It was the Raw. I think it was the first Raw of the year where you and him had the TLC match. Where do you remember where that match was?
Tampa.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, Tampa. I was there. I was at that match. I remember I had a free bet going on. I grabbed this promo bet or whatever. The bet was you would win, and you would also put CM Punk through a table. And if that happened, I'd win about $500. And then the spot came where, CM Punk did the knee in the turnbuckle against you, and then you picked him up and threw him in the table.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I went crazy, because I'm like, all right, this is it. Ryback's going to do it. And then Ryback goes up, you go up the ladder, everybody's going crazy, and then, bam, the lights went out. And I'm like, shit, it's the Shield. And then the Shield attacked you. And after that, I may or may not have cried, because if you would have won, I would have won a big bet. So,
brother, I wish I would have won for multiple reasons. So yeah, that was, but it was what it was. So
yeah, but it was awesome though.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And then I went to Elimination Chamber, I think a month after that. But
sweet.
Yeah, it was always awesome seeing you live. I've been to so many WWE shows and so many football games over the years. Because like I said, I flew for free for so many years. And it was awesome always seeing you. I really did believe WWE misused you. I think if they would have used you.
Brother, we don't need to talk about this anymore. Everything is good. Life, like I know a lot of you guys talking about it doesn't change anything. I hear this stuff daily. I'm more than happy and content. It's physical acting. It doesn't change who and what I am. It doesn't. It's like I've lived a great life, and I have a lot of great things coming. Like we don't have to keep rehashing and revisiting things. Like, you know what I mean? It's all good. It's like a movie. Totally. It's just I did my role and helped the other guy and was over in the process. So it's like it's a win-win.
Totally.
I was injured. Everything got cut short with my injuries, and I left. I saved my health, and I've got the world now, and like I'm happy, and everything is good. We don't none of that matters anymore. Okay.
Totally. I apologize.
Let's just move forward. But I know you don't mean any harm by it, but it's like you got to remember. Like I hear this all the time. It's like I don't need to keep revisiting it. Let's move forward.
Yeah, got you. I apologize for bringing it up.
It's all right, buddy.
I hope you have a good day. I'm going to address a couple questions in the chat, and I got to get going. All right, bud?
Okay, great.
All right, Justin, you have a good one.
You too. Thanks again for having me.
You're welcome, buddy. Thank you. The past is the past, though, guys. It's like it's all happened. It's done with. We can keep going back, and I know no harm is meant by any of it with it, but it's just like I'm done what I've had to do to get my health back, and everything's going to be great. Chance Grows Biz, thank you for the super chat. If Cheddar and Mozzarella had a Hell in a Cell match, who would win and how? Man, I'm still Cheddar's coming out on top with that. I tell you though, a cheddar and mozzarella grilled cheese, that's with a big bowl of hot tomato soup. Can't go wrong with that either. Cheddar for the win. Super chat, Kevin Miller, thank you, says, what are your thoughts on Dutch Mantel saying you have a bad attitude backstage and that you had heat with the locker room? I got along great with Dutch every time in WWE. I've reached out to said, like, I'm more than willing to talk with him. He, I don't think is. I believe he's saying things for WWE. I've talked about this. That is a flat out lie. If that was the case, this stuff all would have been coming out while I was there. I wouldn't have been working with top people and been in a big position for the majority of my time. You guys would have heard of stories of me being reprimanded or pulled off of shows or doing things. And all the guys that know me know that that is not true. Now, I can't say, like, I always got along great with everyone. I was always in the locker rooms. I always was there early. I always stayed late. I was like, got along with everybody that worked there, talked to everybody. I don't know. Now, could it be possible? Could there be people that are with, I've talked about the bleacher stand people that go sit in the bleachers with guys and then they talk about people, and whatnot. I chose to stay away from that as much as possible with all of that. So, but Dutch was always very nice to me in WWE. He came and sat by me multiple times and would like talk to me and was very kind and complimentary. So, again, it's very odd. And I've talked to, he's done a few things where he's brought me up in a negative light. And I've just said, look, you can keep doing this and go back and forth all day. Like, I'll just come talk to you on the thing. And I think it's more telling if somebody won't talk to you and they're just going to continue. I would just say, go ahead, let's provide some examples and let's get into the details of it if that happened. Because that never happened with any of that. You would have heard of things. There would have been confrontations. There would have been none of this with any of it. That's being done to try. He's trying to essentially, this is for WWE, whether he's doing this on his own or in conjunction with them. But it's like the Booker stuff where Booker knows he gets paid. A lot of these guys, though, if they know that I have issues with WWE, and there's a reason I think he started doing this just as of late, like really recent with it, is probably financially. If you need money, it's easy to badmouth somebody if you know they have issues with the company. And so he thinks he's like getting over with the company. They all just badmouth Ryback and Vince, and maybe they'll be willing to throw me a bone with that. That is what I think is going on personally with the situation with it. I think I'm more than willing to talk. Whether he wants to come on here, he can come on Twitter X Spaces. If they want me to come go on their little deal, I'll come on. And I'm more than willing because he was very nice to me in person. I don't think I would want to know why would he come and sit next to me and tell me nice things and talk about things and like life or whatever, wrestling, if I had such a bad attitude and was so toxic. And why didn't any of this come out when I was there? I think it's conveniently, though, come out while I'm gone and not wrestling while I've been waiting to get cleared and come back, because I think they desperately don't want me going anywhere else, which is why they've done what they've done. And this is everything I've said is true with Vince and what he's trying to do and make an example out of. But, we're grown men. Dutch, I'm more than willing to come talk. It's like the Cornette and all that. Those guys are afraid to talk because they know the truth. And what's going to happen is they're going to be exposed to their own followers for lying. And then their credibility is going to be gone. So that's why they're not doing it with it. And I can go on there. I'm more than capable of going and just talking and just like this. And like, oh, Dutch, I wasn't aware of that. I mean, I was on all the shows for years with all the guys in developmental. Do you have any specific examples? And I would want to hear his specific examples that we could talk about. And well, why didn't this come out? Why didn't all this bad attitude stuff come out while I was in WWE?
isn't it odd? It all kind of coincides with me leaving and them wanting my social media and wanting me to sign it over with an NDA and then pumping out all this fake articles for years on me being a horrible person and all these different things that were just flat out lies, which a lot of them we got taken down and then they just kept pumping them out. And so I just wanted, why is it everybody that's worked with me has positive things to say, yet there's like the people that have never met me or the dirt sheets or things have these negative things that aren't true with it. But I think that all could be talked about and discussed. I think it's very telling though when somebody isn't willing to come on or to talk or what he wants to do an X Spaces. I don't care where it's at. You want to have Conrad or one of the guys host it, brother. I'm easy. I'll show up. It's like the Busted Open guys. With that, flat out, they've said the thing. Oh, we're going to bring them on. Did you guys notice they never brought me on? It wasn't me. I called in. They don't want to put me on. They know the truth is going to come out. I don't know what else to tell you guys. What else do you want? Like it's not true. Why didn't it come out when I was in WWE? So just use a little common sense with it. So I'm done though. Like that, man. Like I just hope to God. And I pray, like, when I'm that age, I hope to God I'm not online doing shit like that. He has to live with it. I know the truth. I'm going to get healthy and come back, and everyone's going to see. It's just, it's crazy with all of it. And I don't care what route we have to take or we're going to go. Like, it's all going to come out with all of it. So. But I'm more than willing. If any of these people want to talk face-to-face in person or on the show, like more than willing. There's a reason Booker backed out. You guys, I'm telling the truth with it. And you guys can go defend whoever you want to defend. And like I'm a grown man with any of this. I'm just like, I'm over it. I'm doing everything that I said. We're coming back. I've won everything. There's a reason. There's people that understand too. Like, how am I the bad guy speaking up for things with WWE that betters pro wrestlers in the industry? Just think about it. If you go back and listen to thing after thing after thing after thing, how am I the bad guy? Or does that company want to paint me in the light that I'm a bad guy with this and use some of their pawns to try to make something that with all these just complete flat out lies out of left field with it? And I know the truth and I'm going to win. I have the courage and I don't have the fear where I can keep pushing through and fighting and I'm going to do it. But that's why Vince, he's trying to cut me off. They think that like he's just going to cut me off of everything, and they're going to like I have so many safety outlets and nests where I can just make a few little maneuvers and strengthen myself to keep this going longer and longer and longer. Like whatever they think, Vince and them that they're tracking, like they think like I've got so many options with things, and I'm not stopping with any of it. And his fuse is much shorter than mine with this, in terms of life with all of this. So I'm going to win, and the truth is going to come out, and everyone's going to see. So. Wish Dutch the best, though. It was always nice. And hopefully, if he wants to talk or come on, he can maybe give a little more, be more specific. And, I think it's odd talking about a guy who hasn't been involved in wrestling on TV in 7.5 years. And now all of a sudden you're now like doing videos on that. Raises a few red flags. Right? But with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show. I've got a new feeding time out. Please check it out. The Taco Bell feeding time here on Ryback TV that just dropped today at 8 a.m. It's on the channel. Guys, please check in. If you can give that a thumbs up this podcast, subscribe, follow, like, share, keep everything moving in a positive direction. If you can leave an iTunes review, greatly appreciated as well, guys. And we'll be back again tomorrow for another Ryback show with everything. Please check out my Feed Me More Nutrition, feedmemore.com. Save 20% discount code FEEDME20, FEEDME20, and all the Ryback merch with a free shaker bottle as well with all your orders, feedmemore.com. Have a good one, guys, and until next time, my friends, stay hungry. Feed me more.
Hey, Rybackers, don't forget to hit that like button, smash that subscribe, and shell shock those notifications. And for the best supplements on the planet with Feed Me More Nutrition and all the latest cool new Ryback merch, visit feedmemore.com.